One, all it takes is one chance, one opportunity, one shot at something. Once you change that one, you never realize that one opportunity gave you. Welcome to Principles. 11-1, you still in the game. You still got a chance. You still got that one opportunity. You still got it. All it takes is one. And one can be a good thing or a bad thing. 1 ounce of oil, 1 pint of oil can screw up gallons of water. When you look at it from a positive aspect, one opportunity can change your life. One path that you go down can be a deciding factor on your journey. Just like paint, you put a little bit of black paint in any other color, it's going to darken it. You put a little white paint in any other color, it's going to lighten it. It's going to change the aspect ratio of that product. Whether it's good or bad, it's going to change it. Keep taking them chances. Don't surrender to it. Don't get complacent to it. Don't be defeated by those circumstances from taking those chances. Because you always got one. And as long as you got one, that's positive. Everything can be stacked against you. And I literally mean everything can be working against you. But as long as you got one, you got a chance. And when we doing math, we learn to do math in school, we start working with positives and negatives. You take -3 and add +1 to it, you ain't at -3 no more. Even though you may still be in a negative, you ain't at 3. The same is true in life. You may look at your situations as negative, but you got a positive aspect that you're adding to it. So therefore, you're able to capitalize on that. You're able to change your trajectory just because you have something positive going in your corner. Everything that we utilize today, product, service, the people we call when we got problems, whoever started that took a chance. They took a chance. They took a chance on themselves. They had an opportunity that was presented to them. They're able to capitalize on that. Excuse me. But we all took a chance. And sometimes we're blinded by the chances we don't take because we're fearful of staying in the places that we already are comfortable in. How many of y'all ever heard the story of McDonald's? Ask yourself that question. How many of y'all ever heard the story of McDonald's? And the reason I bring McDonald's up is because you had two brothers that initially started the McDonald's brand. They're making burgers and fries, and you can walk up and get your burger and fries and a drink. Fast food essentially. You're not sitting down waiting for 15, 20, 30 minutes for your food to come out. They took a chance to start that business and to bring something to market that wasn't there. But at the same time, I believe they were fearful of the growth, fearful of the potential. They had the opportunity, they had many opportunities, and all they needed was one opportunity, and it could have really changed their family tree and the trajectory on their lives and the lives of their family. But you got to have vision to see beyond where you at. You got to have vision to see beyond where you're sitting. So the reason I bring up the story of McDonald's is, for those that's not familiar with it, was a guy. His name was Ray Kroc. He was a door-to-door salesman. Selling vacuums, selling blenders, whatever the case is, he was selling something. But he was door-to-door with it. Now, today, in the modern times that we live in, very rarely do you have people, knocking on your door trying to convince you to buy a product or service that you hadn't been looking for. That's very rare today in these terms. But back then, that was very normal. And you got the vacuum, cleaning the house, you got, the blender, you got all these different products. And they're so new to market, and the concept is so new that it's worth entertaining, or at least hearing the sales pitch, because it can be beneficial. In Ray Kroc's situation, he's, door selling. He goes to, I guess, taking a lunch break, and he goes by this walk up burger place called McDonald's. Gets him a burger, fries, a drink for whatever the going rate was at that time. Of course, the dollar went a lot further back then, so things were a lot cheaper back then. And he looks up and he sees all of these people. They getting food, they getting ice cream, whatever the case is. I'm like, man, I'd like to be a part of this. And he goes into business eventually with the brothers, the McDonald brothers. It's like, hey man, we could franchise this. And all a franchise is I've already created the service or the product. You're just in position and in a place where you manage it. I made it easier for you. And they wasn't really with that. They were good with their 2 or 3 stores that they had, or 2 or 3 restaurants that they had. They couldn't see beyond the small market that they were in to extend it to a worldwide brand. Having that business insight, okay, let me get this opportunity to extend it beyond where y'all are comfortable with, because I'm willing to take the chance, because I think this is a great service and product to bring to market. Now, when you look back at it now, for those that aren't aware of that whole story with Ray Kroc and the McDonald brothers, they're all up and down the interstates. They're in airports. They're in the malls. They're in other countries. That was his one opportunity. That was his one chance to capitalize on something where he had vision, even though his associates didn't. Now, do you think those brothers, and I don't know if they're still living or not, but do you think those brothers regret that decision to not go the distance, not take that chance? Because again, I don't know what city or town you can go to and not see a McDonald's. Like they're literally everywhere. And it all started from one guy seeing, having that vision, taking that chance, wanting the two brothers to come along with him, but they were happy dealing in the markets that they were in. Like, nah, this is good where we at. And it changed the whole trajectory of Ray Kroc's life. Again, what city or town can you go to and not find a McDonald's? And to add another layer onto that, most of them, prior to the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, operated 24 hours a day. So not only can you go everywhere and find one, you can be fed at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning from these establishments. Like they really honed in and fine tuned that. It really changed the trajectory of people's lives. A lot of jobs were created. Now, I won't say that they're the highest paying jobs, but what I will say is jobs were created because someone had vision, someone took a chance, and that chance that they took is beneficial to millions of people. If you travel a lot, you're going to see a lot of McDonald's, and a lot of them are open 24 hours a day. McDonald's and Waffle House, Huddle House, and I'm speaking from the East Coast, Southeast aspect of what I see. So you may be in the Midwest, and it might be something totally different that I never heard of. You might be in on the West Coast, and it might be something totally different that I never heard of. But in the Southeast and the Northeast and the East Coast, you're gonna find a Waffle House. You're gonna find a McDonald's. They're gonna be open. They're gonna be ready for business. But it started as a very small company, what I believe 2 or 3 restaurants, and it morphed into this franchise, and it morphed into this idea of we can provide this same service all across this country and extend it beyond this country. Ray Kroc capitalized on that. The brothers couldn't see it. Sometimes we get so complacent of where we are and where we're at that we don't see beyond it. And sometimes we never see beyond it. And that's just, truth. But in saying that, that one chance, that one opportunity, someone was able to capitalize on it. One opportunity. We can be intentional while we seek opportunities. How many people out there right now, you guys listening, you're working, You might be listening to this while you're at work. At the same time you're listening to this, you're on Indeed, you're on ZipRecruiter, you're on LinkedIn, and you're looking to see what other opportunities are out there because you're willing to entertain it because you know it only takes one. Now, whether you categorize it as that or acknowledge it as that, I only need this one chance, this one opportunity. You're doing it subconsciously. Or you may be at work and you're entertaining the idea of having your own small business. What's your skill set? How can you monetize it? How could you bring real world value to the marketplace with your skill set? You're entertaining those opportunities. You're entertaining that one chance. And all you need is one. It all starts with one. You get one good review, one positive feedback, and it birthed so many different ideas and things. Whatever your skill set, whatever your training is, whatever you do, someone can say, hey, man, that was an exceptional job. That might just be enough for you to get the wheels spinning in your head that I could do this independently. Most people that work a job can be a consultant in that industry for other institutions, for other companies, for other entities. But a lot of times we don't think of it as such because we're stuck in that job mindset. Be intentional with your opportunities. When these opportunities arise, when these opportunities present themselves, take advantage of them, but be intentional with it as well. The crazy thing about life is a lot of them are coincidental, but more of them are accidental. There are more situations where we have a product or service brought to market that's accidental. Someone was trying something and saw that it had another benefit. I mean, hell, look at the microwave. The microwave was never invented for its intended purpose as we use it today. But we use it for that. We use it to heat our food. But that wasn't the intent of the microwave. A lot of products or service that come to market, a lot of times they are accidental. We're going after this objective, but we figure out something else. We figure out how we could do something else. We figure that this has an added benefit. A lot of these opportunities present themselves when you ain't even looking for it. Again, it's accidental. There's many stories. If you just Google it, what product or service came to market that was an accident? And what was the benefit? And you'll see. A lot of it is accidental. While going after one objective, we figure this out. So we're able to capitalize on that one opportunity. You get to taste that success. You got proof of concept. Nothing in this world is more powerful than proof of concept. Even if you're going after something intentionally, once it proves to you that this can be a thing, now you're running full throttle for the simple fact that it's been proven that this can be a thing. So it's not coincidental. It's not accidental, it's intentional. That proof of concept. While you're going through those realms of things, you get invaluable experience. Think about different trades, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. A lot of trades and skills are learned from on the job experience. So when you have these on the job experiences, or you're running a small businesses and you have these experiences, you're learning as you go. You're honing in on your skill set as you go. And a lot of people don't see it as that, but it's an invaluable experience where you can gain invaluable knowledge and experience. It's like a mechanic. The more they work on things, the more they learn about things. You got guys out there right now can tell you what you need to complete a certain task because they've done it so much. That's invaluable. A lot of people in this country, a lot of people in this world, for everything that they do, they need instructions. And if they can get those instructions of what to do and how to do it, that's what they're going to do. Think about it like this. Me personally, if I got to put together something, let's say I go to a Lowe's, a Home Depot, a IKEA, and I buy something that needs to be put together. A lot of times I try to put it together without looking at the directions. And when I get stuck, then I go look to the directions. That's just me. I'm not saying it's everyone, but that's me. Some people need the instructions, the direction to do everything. And that's fine. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying when you do something without the directions, without the instructions, you sharpen your skill set so much that when you look at it, you see things for what they are. And you're able to adjust, readjust, complete the task. Opportunities come, chances come. Again, all you need is one. All you need is one. When you think about games and strategy, right? You got basketball, you got football, you got checkers, you got chess, you got the game of spades, different card games. It's all about strategy. All about strategy. Chess, you want to be many moves ahead. Checkers, same concept. Chess is a little more in depth, but the concept is the same. When you're making your move, you want to think what your opponent is going to do. And you want to think beyond the one move that you believe your opponent is going to do. So if you're able to move about the board the way that you need to, considering what your opponent is going to do, what your opponent may do, won't do, their possibilities along with your possibilities, you're strategizing. You're processing it. That's how you win the game. I remember when I was a kid, I haven't seen this game in years, but it's called Battleship. Some may know what I'm referencing, some may not. But the game was called Battleship. And the objective is that game was all strategy. Just like checkers, just like chess. You got to think moves ahead of what your opponent may do. Because in the real world, if you're not thinking ahead of what your opponent may do, it may cost you more than it cost them. Just because you wasn't thinking ahead. Just because you wasn't in a place where you're considering their possibilities, even though you know what direction you want to go. Of course you want to win the game. Of course you want to win the game. But you can't go into it blindly to the fact that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna make these moves without not considering what moves they're gonna make or what obstacles are gonna come in front of you. What obstacles are gonna present itself to you to the fact that you have to consider what they're doing. Sometimes we don't consider that. Sometimes we just get stuck. We in our channel. We making our moves. We don't care about what they doing, how they doing. We just want to make our moves. You have to consider the opponent. Because that opponent, every opponent is different, and you may get to an opponent that break you. You may get to an opponent that you can't defeat because you're thinking so much about what you need to do versus what you can do, and what are your steps to mitigate and get around all of the other obstacles that you may face. That's the story of life. That's the story of business. Your next move counts. Your next move counts. So in your mind, silently calculate, what are you going to do next? How are you going to capitalize on your next move? Is your next move is it going to be sacrificial? Because there are a lot of moves you can make in life that's going to be sacrificial. You may be dealing with something right now where you got to make a move, but you got to sacrifice something in that move. Are you willing to sacrifice whatever that is, whether it's ego, whether it's pride? You willing to sacrifice that to get you over the edge? Some people aren't. Your ego will get in the way. Your pride will get in the way. And then you miss out on these opportunities because you didn't sacrifice something. When you work a job, you self-employed, whatever the case is, somebody is paying you to do something. Whether you self-employed or you work for a company, somebody's paying you to do something. So what's the one thing that we all got in common in that realm? Because we either all work for a company or are paid by a client. The only thing changed there is the words. The only thing that's different there is what I'm saying and the words that I'm using. You either have a client or you work for a company. Either way, somebody is paying you for something. Sometimes we adopt this mindset of, I'm the boss, I'm this, I'm that. And that's cool. But always remember, you either work for a company or you have clients. Either way, someone is paying you. Whether you're self-employed or a W-2 earner, someone is paying you for something. Whether that's for your time, whether it's for your labor, they're paying you. And a lot of times people get in a mix of, I'm this boss, I'm this entrepreneur, I'm this business owner. But someone is paying you for that. So you have to be open to the fact that you're being paid for that. Calculate all your opportunities while you're engaged in that. When you think about it full throttle, how are you going to come over the top in your situation, in your circumstance, with your one chance or your many opportunities? Because sometimes they don't come back to back. Sometimes they be stretched out. You may get one this year, one next year. How you going to capitalize? How you going to calculate all of those moves? Think about it. No matter what you do, how you earn your money, how you make your living, it's all calculated. You got to consider all of the risks. You got to consider all of the moves. Once you do that, you'll have a better understanding of where you at, what you wanting to do. And when you up, as in the game of spades, you run a Boston. For those that are familiar with the game of spades, when you got Boston, shit, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we just playing this game to we're gonna hurry up and get this out the way. And for those that aren't familiar with the game of spades, you got 13 books in the game. When you run into Boston, that means you and your teammate, because this is a team game, you have 10 books. Your opponent only got 3. And depending on where you from and how you play it, could be the total opposite where you have 13 and your opponent don't got nothing. But that don't mean you beat them down. You take that opportunity, that one chance, you capitalize on it. You do what you need to do to make it happen. All of these chances couple up to opportunities is good for growth. It goes back to that proof of concept. If you're doing something right now today, outside of your job or outside of your business, and doesn't always have to have financial implications to it, but it can be good for your growth. You may be self-employed and you give back to your community. You may be employed and you give to the hungry. That's good for your growth. That's good for your mindset. With the chances you're taking, the opportunities that present themselves to you, where do you see yourself? In the next 5 years, hell, the next 2 years, where do you see yourself? 5 years, where do you see yourself? 10 years, where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? What makes you happy? Most people work a job because of the income, not because of the satisfaction, not because it provides them happiness, but it gives them comfort in their day to day. That's most people's situation. For others, there are a lot of people that have figured out how to monetize their passion, that have figured out how to monetize what they love doing. Where do you stand? What are your goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? The next 5 years? Where do you want to be? Consider all the above. You may want to purchase your first home. You may want to purchase your second home. Hell, you may want to buy an investment property. You may want to start another business. You may want to up your level of expertise, get further educated. You may want to take the chance on going after a job and a job title that you didn't believe was obtainable or within reach. One opportunity, one chance. My late grandfather used to say, if you want anything in life, you got to take a chance. I remember the first time he said that to me. I didn't really understand it. I might have been 16, maybe 17 at the time. And I didn't fully understand what he was saying. But as I got older, I realized what he was saying. If you want anything in life, you're going to have to take a chance. I didn't realize it until I got my first car payment. I want this vehicle. I don't have all the money to pay for it cash. I got to get finance. I'm taking a chance to not ruin my name and my credibility just as much as the financial institution is taking a chance on me not to have bad debt on their portfolio. When you buy your first home, first vehicle, you start working, you taking all these different chances. You're going with whatever opportunity presents itself that you feel is beneficial and best for you and yours. But you got to take a chance because if you don't, you know what I'm saying, it's different. You got to take a chance. A lot of times the opportunities will come, but because you're stuck wherever you're stuck at, you don't see them. You got to take a chance, man. Higher education, businesses, even the people that you talk to, even your network, or even creating that network. You may meet someone that you think is not approachable, and they're very approachable, but because you know who they are or what they do, you feel as though you don't fit the narrative and you can't adjust and you can't talk to them or they're not reachable. And a lot of times they are. You just got to spark it. You just got to get to them and talk to them. And a lot of times they will give you what some people charge you for in a consultation. The information will just be flowing, but you have to be in a place to receive it. Not saying that you're going to entertain these conversations just to get information. But what I'm saying is people who are in certain realms, they speak from a place as though everyone around them understands everything and is knowledgeable about everything they're speaking on, to the point where it's literally a college course or a master class. But you have to be in a position in your life where you can receive it. How many times you've watched a clip on whatever social media outlet or watched a video on YouTube and it gets the wheels spinning in your head and you start Googling this and Googling that. And nowadays you go to ChatGPT and type in your questions and you get your responses based upon your head spinning or the wheels spinning in your head on a few words that were said. It's crazy how that works. But it's work and it works. Get in the game. I challenge you to act on whatever you're feeling positively, whatever direction you think you want to go. I encourage you to act on it for the simple fact that if you're not in the game, then you're a spectator. You want people to pay to see you, or you want to pay to see them. Now, either way, it doesn't matter how that goes. But what I'm simply saying is, do you want to be the person that's watching everybody do stuff? Or do you want to be a person that's doing something that people are watching? Everybody don't have to watch you. You don't need validation from everybody. You don't need affirmation from everybody. What are you doing that speaks to your spirit? And it's not all about money. It's all about your fate, your destiny, what you're destined to do, what you're destined to be. How you perceive that is on you, but what are you doing? Get in the game. Every action got a reaction. What are you going to do to increase your chances? Is it a certificate? Is it a degree of some sorts? Is it some? Is it a webinar? Is it a consultation? Higher learning? Whatever. Is it you putting yourself out there and networking with total strangers that you don't know? Talking to people, trying to get information. What is it? Everyone's path is different. So therefore, how we go about it or how we approach it is going to always be different. I challenge you to write down 3 goals you want to achieve in the next year. No matter how big or how small. For some people, that goal may be, hey, I want to work out at least 3 times a week. For a lot of people, they want to make more money. For a lot of people, they want to explore and go places they never been and see things they never saw. Only you really can dictate that. But challenge yourself with those 3 goals. And then ask yourself the question, how you going to achieve them? You want to go on this extravagant trip? How you going to achieve that? You want to meet certain people? How you going to achieve that? Set those goals. Stay the course. At the end of the day, you owe you. No matter what nobody says, you owe you. If you could do or achieve certain things, it'll prove to yourself that proof of concept that we spoke on earlier. It'll prove to yourself that this is attainable. This can be done. It may get the wheel spinning to a degree where you're doing even more because the proof of concept proved to yourself that, hey, this is viable. This is an option. Take actions. One opportunity, that's all it takes. One chance, that's all it takes. Now, of course, you got to be in a place to receive the chance and receive the opportunity, because if you're going through something that's giving you, enormous mental and emotional distress, you ain't gonna see certain opportunities until they already pass by, and then you may regret it, and that's fine. But don't let that tear you down, because the one thing about life is, as long as you're breathing, another one will come. It's more about timing. Don't think I want this today or this year. I must get it if you're not taking actionable steps. Ain't nothing in life free. Everything got a cost, whether it's a physical cost, a currency cost, a mental cost, an emotional cost. Everything got a cost to it. Last thing I say, given the conversation today, when you get home, depending on what time you listen to this, it may be, you may be on night shift, so it may be your morning when you get home. You may be waking up from listening to this at night, and you're getting your day started. Look in the mirror at yourself. Believe everything you see. Look yourself in the eyes. Tell yourself you can be everything that you think. There's no wall you can't break. There's no chain you can't break. There's no curse you can't break. And none of it can hold you. None of it can hold you. You can be shackled to the floor. It ain't gonna hold you. They don't make any restraints that can hold you. Principles.